Gasp. We need to get into RuPaul's Drag Race episode 4. Good morning, bitches. Right fucking now. Let me tell you something. Hey, it's Matty Rants with Matthew's Rants, Raves, and Reviews. Thank you again, everyone, for liking, subscribing, and sharing. I really appreciate the love, and thank you so much for your understanding as far as me not posting the video last night like I normally do. I'm on vacation right now in Atlanta, Georgia, and I won't be back in enough time. I wasn't going to be back in enough time in order to shoot the video from home, so I'm currently in my hotel right now. I had to buy the episode on Amazon and just so I could see it because I wasn't going to watch it live on the Facebook groups because sometimes they can be really choppy. I can go on forever about that, but no. I had to get the episode. I watched Untucked this morning. We need to talk about it. I mean, where do I go from here? Like, because this was the episode that had finally, we got some shade. We finally got some shade. We got an interesting challenge and very, very awkward moments. Okay. First things first, I'm the realist. Come on, Iggy. But no, first things first, Aja, I thought we were over it, baby. No, she walked into the workroom and it was immediately, I'm still mad at Valentina and for her getting so much praise. That's some bullshit. It's just Aaliyah. Like, hey, we all know we got it the last time. We totally got it. But she was still pressed about it. And I said, no, what the fuck is that? I thought we were over the whole situation. But here we go again. Miss Aja girl, come on. Stay focused on your own race now. Because, you know, when you start focusing on other people, that's when you start losing. That's when shit starts falling down, okay? Because you've taken yourself away from your own biggest competition, which is yourself, okay? So basically, it was two teams, all right? Good Morning Bitches and also Not On Today. And they had to present good morning news segments where they had to do what the two head anchors, then they had to do the entertainment, and then they had to do it yourself, DIY, okay? So it was like 2-2-2. We got it? Okay, cool. Now, Trinity was the captain of one of the teams for winning last week's challenge. Aja was the captain of the other team for being the bottom. Who are on the teams? You saw the episode. I'm not going to go down that route. Now, this is where let's just get started because once the teams were set up, that's when all the fuckery started about. Shout out to Peppermint for having some of the best facial expressions during that really rough exchange between Trinity and Eureka. It was like the teacher telling the student, yeah, it was like a mom fighting with her child or a teacher fighting with an uncontrollable student. Like, it was like, good Lord, Eureka, just be quiet for 5 fucking seconds. You know what I'm saying? 8 minutes and 13 seconds in. And I say 8 minutes and 13 seconds in. I watched this on Amazon, so I had no commercials, y'all. But the episode was only like 38 minutes and 20 something seconds. I thought that was fucking weird. I'm starting to swear now because I'm about to get into this shit. But 8 minutes and 13 seconds in, Eureka was pissing me all the way off. I was like, girl, I understand she said raise your hand, but it's how you're doing it. It's the way you're responding. It's like, it's fucking crazy, okay? Bring it in, Eureka, because I was starting to feel you after the last episode. I was like, okay, she's a helpful queen. She's really nice, this and then the other. And then all of a sudden, here we go again with this mess. Now, y'all, we also want to get into that Trinity and Eureka type of animosity that's going on here. Whose side are you on? Are you on Trinity's side? Are you on Eureka's side? Based off of this episode from what you've seen, because to me, I'm like, girl, I'm really on Trinity's, leaning on her side because she's handling it a lot better than say Eureka and how Eureka is just. Ugh, I was getting annoyed. I was getting so fucking annoyed. I'm like, why in the fuck is this bitch going off like that? I was getting mad. And I will get into Untucked in a second too, because when she was in Untucked, that's when it really came down to it. And I said, okay, baby, there we go. Now you want to put up the big guns now. I said, when she got Untucked, I said, oh, okay. Now we're going to be a big girl, but now we're going to really try to come for the jugular. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. Now, Charlie and Cynthia Lee Fontaine's chemistry was not there at all. It was like Charlie's a control freak, and the way she was handling Cynthia was kind of overly aggressive and also demeaning a little bit. And hear me on this, you guys. I understand where Cynthia was coming from, where she says my humor comes from a certain place and I put it into what I do with these challenges. And it felt like Charlie wasn't getting that because almost as if Charlie, well, I'm sick of the cuckoo bit and that's all I think of you for being about the cuckoo. Where Cynthia has, a rough accent, but she plays that up, Again, this is the person who's going to be Sofia Vergara, hopefully, for Snatch Game. So Cynthia knows what she's doing, in a sense. This is not her first time around in this rodeo. Again, as she said at the beginning of the episode, baby, I've made it past episode 3, so I've already done my job. It felt weird and awkward, and it was another. I didn't like seeing Charlie in that light, and I was like, girl, what's going on here? And it really, what was amazing about that is that it almost set up how Charlie was going to play out for the rest of the episode. The first group to start is Good Morning Bitches. Now, I gotta say that everybody looked pretty good. Aj's makeup on the Good Morning Bitches segment was rough as fuck. Now, when we get to the runway, saving grace. Her makeup was so much better on the runway. But during the Good Morning Bitches segment, I was like, Shay and Sasha had the best chemistry. They were so funny the entire time. They just played off of each other. It didn't seem scripted. Everything just seemed natural. And so they did a really good job. Everybody else on that team, like Alexis and Farrah, slightly dry. Aja and Valentina were stepping over each other. Could have possibly put them in the bottom. That was pretty bad. The picture had came up during the segment for entertainment, and it was, who was that? Laganja Estranja, and they said completely different names. It was a hot fucking mess. So it was like, okay, girl, now Shay and Sasha saved that team, and that's how I was looking at it until we get into Not On Today. That was like the worst of the worst. Like, okay, so Trinity and Peppermint's chemistry, it was like, I guess the storyline they made up for themselves was not at all, it didn't work for them. Like, not even close. Like, not even a smidgen, a tip of top of dupe. It wasn't there. I was like, girl, bye. Like, no. It was, Trinity seemed too frigid. Peppermint seemed like she was the, ooh, round the way girl. But she couldn't, it just couldn't mesh. And it just wasn't right. And I guess what they wrote for their own little bitchy shade, it was also kind of like, it's more mean than it's funny. So it didn't work out for them. Now, Charlie and Cynthia, that played out exactly what we thought it was going to play out like a fool. Because Charlie, I swear to God, it was like watching a commercial for, is this your life? Do you need any help? Do you have life insurance? Call Liberty now. That's what it gave me. And I was like, someone get this lady a Red Bull. Please help her out because she was so dead. Cynthia was holding them up the entire time. And Charlie was even over talking her a couple times. I was like, bitch, this is not working out. This is not working out. This is the episode where Charlie's going to be in the bottom. It was set up for failure. For real. Then comes Nina and Eureka. Now you're thinking to yourselves, after Eureka gave all that trouble with Trinity earlier, this is not going to go down that way. And Nina felt a little slighted by Trinity for the fact that she didn't get picked as one of the first people. She was picked last. And then, Trinity said, well, girl, don't get in your head because I picked you last. But it's like, bitch, but you did, though. And that already happened. And it's hard for me now to take myself out of a place when you have already put me into that place by telling me, basically, I'm not good enough by not picking me as one of the top people. I get that, everybody. But again, Nina is that person. And we have seen this already throughout the last 4 episodes where Miss Thing, if you put her, if the red light is on, she fucking performs. And that is what I like about Bonita Brown, okay? That red light turn on. You know what I'm saying? But we'll get into the runway in a second. Now, where was I at? Okay, so Nina and Eureka. Nina and Eureka did a really fucking good job. Their do-it-yourself portion was hilarious. Eureka set up the jokes. Nina landed it. It was like, I'm throwing you the line, and Nina caught the hook. Very good. Their chemistry was perfect. So I was very much happy to see that those two could pull it out, especially in the setting that they were in, with one being picked last, and the other one, while Eureka being a total child for going off and being on that little whatever she was going through, her still being able to show good work. Even if things are bad happening around you, honey, when the challenge is up there, you have to show your work, okay? So that, before I end it, before I end it, because I was about to leave, not on today, they couldn't close that segment out for their lives. Naya Rivera was sitting there like, am I supposed to go? No one gave me a goodbye. There's nothing happening here. It was so awkward. Why is everyone just sitting there like this? It's like, like, can I speak? I was like, oh my God, fucking say something. Someone say something. Just say something. One word. Just one word. Nope. No. It was painful. It was fucking painful to watch. But I don't know if it was painful that no one could speak after Charlie had said, okay, well, we got to go by. We're going to commercial. It's like, Charlie, you're entertainment, boo. Why were you speaking there? And at the same time, I feel you looking at the teleprompter, but let it have just gone on. And maybe there's the time's up. That would have been a better case for you than others, because that just seemed like you were overstepping it, okay? So now to the runway. So the runway was naughty 90s. About 75% of them followed that criteria, okay? Now, I want to say that most of them looked pretty good. I got to say that I think I wrote something down for all of them. Let me take a look here. Yeah, I wrote something down for everybody. Pheromone looked lovely. Alexis Michelle gave me Desperate Housewives realness tease. Aja was giving leave the money on the dresser. I'm going to give you a private dance. And it was actually a good look. Her makeup was soft. I was not mad at it at all. I said, okay, Aja stepped it up. More so, not even, well, let's not say she stepped it up. Let's just say she took it back. She brought that makeup down. It wasn't like this harsh, overly done paint. It was very soft. And you guys, I know people talk about her skin and everything, and we could go in on that, and I could easily read and shit, but what's that gonna solve? All I can say is, for her painting herself soft, even with her insecurities about her skin and her skin issues, it came off looking better than all 3 times she came out with the other makeup. 4, I should say, because she had 4 looks. 2 from the first episode, and then 1 from the second episode. Yeah, so pretty much out of every time we've seen her, that was the best her makeup's looked, in my opinion. Sorry about it. Not sorry about it. Valentina. Okay, if that runway last week was not deserving to be top 3, this week, that was top 3. That bitch had on good old lingerie. I said, oh, she looked expensive. Shea Coulee gave me Roxy Hart Chicago tees, and I like that too. It was a nice look. Sasha Velour gave me fashion tassel boy chest titties out candelabra Liberace down. Trinity Taylor looked unclockable, like feminine for real. Fishy boots up in here. Yeah, it was definitely that. Mama was serving mama. Like, pat that pussy. Bye. That's what she was serving. Peppermint. This was not your finest hour, or look, or day. My God, was that a black top and Pepto-Bismol bottom? No, ma'am. Why am I talking like that? Okay, sorry. I just didn't really like Peppermint's outfit. I'm like, fuck, I like Peppermint so much, but that outfit was like, no. Charlie Hides. I was so, I was so focused on what her face was looking like that her outfit disappeared for me, because she got to the front and it was like, spook. She looked so scared. I was like, I've never seen her face look like that when she got to the end of the runway. I was kind of concerned. I think Charlie knew she was in trouble, but I don't know if you clocked it. I clocked it before we got to Untucked, but I noticed that she wore the same pair of fucking heels consistently. They were just like different. I thought they were different colors. At first I was like, well, she just has a lot of the same kind of heel. But in Untucked, that she explains she only had 2 pairs of heels and she just redecorated them different ways. I was like, oh, that would explain why in episode 3, take a look underneath that gold dress, you can see that big ass pump, and it's like, you needed that for that tall, long dress? All right. Cynthia Lee Fontaine. Okay. When she got that X-Men reference, I was like, lies. But and this is from someone who's a comic book nerd. I was like, lies, not even close. It did give me a good look, though. It wasn't bad. I don't know. Cynthia's looks are very safe to me. They're not like extravaganza. They're very safe. But I liked it better than her last week's outfit. I thought the wings was a nice touch, too. Eureka's was okay. It was not the challenge. You were dominatrix. Nina Bonina Brown gave us good old zombie hooker realness. Now, again, that wasn't nighty, but I liked the execution and what she gave. I thought it was fire with the face. They were like, we'll get into Untucked later when they were trying to shade that. But I liked the look personally. It wasn't what the challenge was giving, but if they were to judge it based on what was up there, Nina would be definitely fucking safe, okay? So we find out that Shea Coulee and Sasha Velour are the winner, and it's like, yeah, they should be the winner. Between Nina Eureka and Sasha Velour and Shea Coulee, those would have been my top four. And good job. Great job, ladies. Congratulations. Okay. So yeah, day one, awesome blossom. And then we get into the bottom, which is not on today. And, their critiques were all interesting. Everybody got mixed reviews. Now, the shadiest question of them all, children, is who should go home? And why shouldn't they be here? Beach. 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 All right, so here's how this went. Trinity and Peppermint said Charlie. Charlie and Cynthia said Peppermint. Eureka and Nina said Trinity. Bitch. Eureka said, listen, okay. Eureka went there and was like, I don't think she was a good leader. I don't think she did a good job. She just told us what we had to do. There was no input on our own end from that, and she was really focused on herself. And she was about to keep going, y'all. And then Trinity said, "I call shade," and I said, "Oh, here we fucking go. I can't wait for Untucked." That's the first thing that came out of my mouth. I promise y'all, I was like, I can't wait for Untucked. It's about to go down. It's about to go down. It's going down. Then Nina said Trinity, and it's kind of like, well, girl, I feel where Nina was coming from in a sense where it's, you did your job as a leader, but there was no input. You didn't come to check on us. There was nothing like that. You could have helped a lot. You could have been more helpful. So I understood where Nina was coming from, but Eureka's was definitely personal. It was definitely personal. It was definitely personal. Do you guys agree it was personal, or do you think that Eureka was just being fair and just going off of what the judges were saying and maybe possibly how she felt whenever they were going through the workroom, even though we only saw 5 fucking minutes of the workroom, which I thought was bullshit. This episode was short, y'all. I was a little mad about that. So bottom two ends up being Trinity Taylor and Charlie Hides. Trinity was the leader, so she took the blame. Charlie really fell flat, so there you go. That was the worst fucking lip sync ever. I would have rather seen Honey Mahogany and fucking Vivian Panay redo Oops, I Did It Again. Real talk. And one of them stayed because Charlie sat in that corner and gave you nothing but old time record realness. No shuffle, no foot motion, barely a hip rotation. Some people said that she was hurt whenever that was happening. Girl, Charlie said it herself. I do not lip sync. I was going to go all the way without lip syncing. If I did have to lip sync, I was just going to say bye, Rue. Rue, bring somebody else in the competition because I feel like that spot was wasted. If that were to why? Why? Come on now. That was Britney Spears. I want to go. Anybody else that would have went up against Trinity would have gave us a fucking show. Anybody else had Peppermint got it would have been a show. But it wasn't. It was Trinity going out there giving you nothing but hairography for Jesus, and Trinity stayed and Charlie went home. And I was just kind of bitter about that lip sync. Real talk, it was boo-boo-boo, boo-boo-boo. What's boo-boo, Matthew? It's boo-boo so bad that it's like poop and boo-boo. It's boo-boo. Just boo-boo. Oh, it's fucking horrible. But one of the better episodes, to be honest, in terms of, I guess, the right amount of shade, the right amount of creativity. Very interesting to see the girls working together in certain senses. We were expecting others to do better than others, and it kind of threw you off a little bit. So yeah, it was a good episode. Pretty good episode. Horrible lip sync. Untucked. So when the girls came back and they were safe, it was like, let's talk about the other team. Really bad. Okay. This Untucked was a little shady from Good Morning Bitches. They were going in a little hard on the other girls' looks, and I didn't necessarily like. I mean, I'm a fan of Nina, so I'm very partial to her. So whenever they were going in on Nina's look, I kind of was like, I don't agree, and I think I'm glad Sasha was like, y'all weren't feeling that. Like, come on, y'all. Like whether or not it was executed at 100% standard, it's still giving more creativity than a lot of the other looks that were given up there. Whether it was a 90 or not, the concept definitely was zombie hooker realness, and I was living and so were the judges. So I didn't feel that. Now, Shay gave a really funny comment with, if you've seen Baby Boy and Taraji P. Henson in there, the let me smell your dick part. Shay, that was perfect for Peppermint's look. I was like, yeah, you pretty much right. Pretty right. Now, we just need to get into it. Okay, look, I have this up right. I'm looking at the video as we speak. That whole exchange between Trinity and Eureka in fucking Untucked. Trinity wore the garbage pail face kid bullshit boxer briefs, run around with the tracks in the back out of Eureka's fucking castle. She read the shit out of it. Not even read. I'm sorry. She didn't read the shit out of her. She checked her, okay? She basically cashed that check. She went to a 24-hour check cashing place. 10% done. Like, I'm telling you. Probably 1%. I don't know where it does if you're 10%. But anywho, I took off my bracelet in this process. I'm sorry. She got her. I said, okay, because Eureka really tried to come for her, and I liked how Trinity explained it. I mean, mind you, no one really said anything about what roles they were giving. Like, Trinity said, I gave you the roles based on what I thought you could excel at based on your personality. Now, Trinity gave the roles based on their personality, and that should have been it. But, you know, some of the girls took it differently and were like, you know, you should have let us choose our roles, or we should have gone over the reading and this and that and the other. Now, that should have been said. I don't know if that was said. Editing didn't show us that was said, but that's not how it came out. It seemed that everyone was just like, okay, cool, we'll go with it. And if all else fails, we can turn it to the captain. But Trinity checked the fuck out of Eureka. And I like how Trinity was able to hold her tongue. Now, everybody, when you're in an argument with somebody and you don't stutter, stammer, lose track of what you're saying, and you continue with the flow of your words, that's how you know you're spitting out what you feel is the truth. And you're really solid in your ground. Trinity was holding her fucking ground. And Eureka, you were reaching, girl, but you could not get up there. Now, when it's, okay, well, now I want to say what I want to say, Trinity's like, bitch, I'm going to go pee. Bye. I don't need to sit here and listen to this. It was crazy. It was crazy. I couldn't, I just couldn't. Oh my God. It was the best. It was the best. I don't really have that much to talk about Untucked, y'all. It was just the Trinity and Eureka fight. So I'm still a little delirious from last night and the shenanigans. So please forgive me for how cut, copy, and pasted this review. And comment down below. Tell me what you thought of tonight's episode, who your top looks were, who you thought had the best segment. Was it Good Morning Bitches? Was it Not On Today? What do we think of Eureka versus Trinity? And how about the other girls in the competition? Oh. Before I let this go, I have a feeling somebody's going to comment and not even go through the whole video after me bringing this up. Sasha Velour and Eureka in that whole exchange. Dear Eureka, okay, listen, this is what I'm talking about. I forgot to bring this up before I go, because now I need to bring this up. Eureka, you are so fucking rude for that whole exchange between Sasha Velour. First and foremost, Valentina was about to bring up a disorder that she wanted to share with everybody, and then the first thing you do trying to make funny or light of the situation is you say eating, and that's not funny. It's not funny because you went that route because Valentina's so skinny. And I understand you're a big girl and you're trying to play off of others, but no, that wasn't necessary. Sasha said, don't go there, girl. And Eureka got immediately defensive and angry that Sasha would even check her on that. And I understood where Sasha was coming from. It's like certain things you can't talk about because you don't know who else in the room is dealing with it and still has a sensitive tie to that subject. Sasha comes over after, Eureka says, I don't like how you approached me or talked to me that way. And she walked over and apologized to her. And Eureka's like, well, girl, I apologize if you were offended by the words I said. Not an apology. The apology should have been, I'm sorry that I hurt your feelings. Not, I'm sorry that if whatever I said had hurt your feelings. It's no, I'm sorry that I was insensitive to you and your feelings. I'm sorry that I made light of that joke. I'm sorry that that was, I shouldn't have gone there. But that didn't happen. She said, do you want me to get on my knees? And Sasha said, girl, bye. And I said, boom. Don't come for Sasha. Sasha was very cool, calm, and collect. And I really appreciated it. Okay, y'all, let me get out of here. I had to put that last point in. Eureka, pull it together, girl, because you're getting that bitch edit real bad, and I really want to like Eureka, you guys. I promise you, I don't come from hate here. I want to like her, but it's getting real difficult. Look down, you see the links. That's Facebook, that's Twitter, that's Instagram. How about Matthew? Twitter, at Matty Rants for both Facebook and Instagram. I love you guys. Take care, and don't forget to comment, like, and share. Talk to you later.